Morning, everyone. I can now tell you that last night I played for Jordan Peterson. That's right, folks. I opened for him at the Melbourne Recital Centre, played in Elizabeth Murdoch Hall, and it was an unbelievable experience. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Where do I start? So I had to think a lot about what I was going to play. And Peterson often talks about how we need to orient ourselves to our highest possible purpose. And he talks quite a lot about the crucifix. So I played the C-sharp minor fugue, which is a musical crucifix. This is yeah, so I played that and played the B-flat minor. It was quite a lot of thought that went into it. And then I decided to, and this is repertoire that I'm preparing for next year, so it was a little early for me to present it publicly, but I just had to choose repertoire that was going to be, that I thought would be appropriate for him, right? I was afraid leading up to the event that there might be some kind of riot, or that the radical left, like the likes of Clementine Ford, might organise a protest. That is the kind of thing that I think those kind of people might do, like sort of bring their pots and pans and bash away and stuff. And I was like, man, what music could I play that might really calm people down? And also I knew that Peterson had like an incredibly profound experience with Mozart's Jupiter Symphony, like to the point that it was so ecstatic and intoxicating for him to hear it. And he talks about this in his YouTube videos, well, one of them, where he became like he couldn't talk and he couldn't function properly. And I think this is a state that Nietzsche described as Grushin. So I had to be very careful. Like, I wasn't going to play a transcription of the Mozart Jupiter Symphony, as much as I love the work. The Bach would not elicit that kind of response. And it also goes right to the core of what he's talking about, like sacrifice. Like, if you want to achieve something, you also have to work out what you're going to sacrifice. So anyway, I came on stage and I started to play, and when I finished the first one, people were clapping, and then I played the prelude, and then they clapped after the prelude. I'm trying to stop them. I'm like, oh no, it's, and then every time I finished another prelude or fugue, it just got louder and louder until it was, they were really happy with it. And luckily there was no protesters. And I came off stage, what an incredible hall. Just think about how improbable it is that we could make a hall of that quality in this country. Like, those of you who've been following me for a long time are aware of how difficult my problems have been with the government. And so to think that the government could actually get 50 million bucks together and build something of that quality, it's a testimony to, the way I said it to Marshall Maguire is, I said, it is a triumph of the human spirit that we have this incredible building here in Victoria. So anyway, I walked off stage, and the MRC management there, and everyone was really happy. And then I came up to Dr. Peterson, and he knew. Of course, I told him that I was going to play das Volltemperaturklavier, and I asked him about if he was a Gould fan, and And he is, and I told him I've been to Roy Thompson's Hall in Toronto. They always say Toronto with an N. But Toronto, and played on Glenn Gould's, on the instrument on which Glenn Gould recorded his late Goldberg variations. And he was like, oh, right, yeah. And then I just said, so, but like, when I came on stage, I didn't have much time because I wanted to get into the audience and listen, right, to what he had to say. And so I just said, he just talked a little bit about the importance of the music. And then I just said, every note was for you. Every note was for you, right? Just once. And then I just said, how do I get into the audience so I can listen to what he has to say? And I got taken down through the stage door and inside the auditorium, and then they put me in the seat. I had a great seat right up the front. And then Peterson came out, and it was just unbelievable, right? The whole hall just erupted, like, everyone on their feet, raw, like, it was epic, man. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I can't even think of a performer, like a musician. Oh, well, there's some rock musicians that elicit that kind of response. And classical musicians do after we play, but before. I mean, the hall was on its feet before he said anything. I felt like I was witnessing some kind of, what might be some kind of revolution. I don't know. But it was unbelievable, right? And then he gave a most exquisite lecture about the importance of orienting yourself properly in the world, finding your purpose, and sacrificing things that you don't need. So I couldn't tell you guys about this leading up, because it could have gone horribly wrong at any point in time, and it could have fallen through, and I couldn't afford to be engaging with anyone about the culture wars. Like, I couldn't have a philosophical conversation with anyone or a debate, because I had to focus 100% on making sure that my playing was going to be, you know, of the standard that is required to play in the Melbourne Recital Centre in Elizabeth Murdoch Hall on the Steinway. And so that's where all my energy was. But, you know, I just want to thank those of you who have stuck by me through thick and thin, and yeah, you guys have been amazing, and thank you. That's it. All right. Peace.